Okay. Hi, Felipe. How do you think of the first week of class?
Hey, I thought it was great. I thought we had the chance just in the beginning to build trust amongst each other. The lifeline exercise, where we had the chance to share in-depth stories with each other. It was great to build trust with the team members. I shared my story of moving to a different country. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I remember that. That are really personal stories and very impressive. I also think the first impression sharing activity was very helpful too.
Absolutely, these two elements helped us to build the trust within the team. I think we should try to keep this trust ongoing throughout the semester.
I totally agree with you. I think the insights exercise feedbacks are very important to help us get a better understanding of our individual characteristics and how our personality traits fit into our team. I was a little concerned because our team lacks of coordinator or director. I was worried it would hinder us from delivering better outcomes in future projects.
I think your concern is legitimate, but in order to build synergy in the group, we are going to include rotational managerial roles so then we can address this concern, including this in our social contracts.
Yeah, I really enjoy the process of drafting social contract. We had such candid and in-depth discussions. And personally speaking, I don't think these dialogues will happen unless we have already developed those trust in the previous sessions. And I also feel very proud that we deliberately align individual strengths and development goals with our team's goals.
That's a great discussion. And I feel fortunate that we had the chance to lay the foundation early in the stage during the process, so to improve the cohesion and harmony against and within the team members.
Totally agree. Let's try to apply our norms and rules and keep reflecting on that. Let's see how Jeremy and Nick work on that.
Oh, hey guys, how you doing?
Hey man, so how'd you feel about that hurricane project?
Oh, I thought it was really interesting. I mean, overall, it just really blew me away.
Yeah, I thought it was great for evaluating our group process, specifically our norms, our communication, and our patterns of influence.
Yeah, I was really glad to have the opportunity to implement our norms that we came up with from the Team Foundations meeting. For instance, one of our norms was openness, not bluntness. And we were able to put that into action in the activity, and I felt that everybody had a fair opportunity to contribute.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that our equal talk times didn't necessarily equate to equal patterns of influence. And I think we kind of almost went down to a groupthink type of dilemma. For me personally, I know I was perceived as an expert going in because I've lived through a couple hurricanes in Florida, but I was really reluctant to take on that role because there were no checks in place on my influence.
Yeah, definitely. I share that sentiment. I know that I can have a tendency to be a little bit more dominant in a group setting, and that proved to be true by having my individual ranks be the most influential to the teams, whereas Hannah, who was clearly our most expert based on her individual rank, was not quite as influential as she should have been, and that may have been a good opportunity for me to step back a little bit and allow her to contribute more to the conversation.
I think what would have really helped is if we had a structured project devil's advocate in place that would have really helped us work on that norm of healthy disagreement and discourse.
Yeah, definitely. I think we really need a clear method for dealing with disagreements within our group as we move forward, and also for coming to a general consensus decision, which is what led us to create our new voting mechanism, thumbs up, thumbs down, and thumbs to the side. What do you all think about our voting mechanism?
So yeah, I actually feel like we tried to take a lot of the things that we learned from Hurricane and apply them directly to the next day's activity, which was Lego Man. So specifically, a lot of people in Hurricane had like sort of imbalanced influence, and I think in Lego Man, people really focused on stepping up, stepping back, making sure that everyone's input was weighted equally. Nick, you did a really good job with this. I think you stepped back a lot. And Hannah and others really had a chance to express their input.
Yeah, it's great to know that our team can take feedback and internalize that and reflect that back in our behaviors. The challenge in Lego Man was that we might have taken it a step too far because in a team full of leaders, we wound up without one. And we experienced significant process loss because of a lack of planning and a consensus-based decision model.
I actually think it's interesting in terms of group structure. We set up this egalitarian framework that works really well for a creative process, but Lego Man is actually not that creative. It's very straightforward, and we might have benefited from more hierarchy. You and I actually have a bit of expertise, so I have a master's in engineering. you have actually facilitated a Lego Man activity before, and both of us were a little tentative to actually step in, I think because of what happened during Hurricane. And that really prevented us from sort of developing the processes we would need to actually execute the task. So when it came time to build Lego Man, it was kind of a mess, and it took us a really long time.
Yeah, in retrospect, we really should have planned how we were going to execute and made sure to assign non-redundant roles. We needed to be more active in dissenting and in playing devil's advocate to keep us focused on assigning and then following those norms.
Lego Man was definitely one of the toughest days of this week, and the pieces just never quite fit together for us. But I think over the course of the week, we've learned more in some of the feature activities.
Yeah, I think personally, I'm really proud of how we performed on Tanagram.
Yeah, exactly. I felt that we really took everything that we learned from Lego Man and applied it to Tanagram the next day.
Yeah, as Vici was saying on Wednesday, we really got stuck in that creativity phase without getting to effectively, producing the output. But yesterday we reflected on what we did in Lego Man and applied all of those learnings to Tanagram.
Yeah, I think that our group has a culture of avoiding hierarchy in fear of it taking opportunity away from others.
Yeah, but in Tanagram the roles were decided for us. Nick and I were chosen as the managers and we had to step up and really make those decisions, which I actually think was helpful for our team.
Yes, but at the same time, us workers were also fully engaged in it. We were into the objective that you guys had set, and we really embraced the processes and our roles within it.
But Nick and I didn't go too far down the dictatorship route, right, guys?
No, not at all. I felt that, in fact, the structure actually helped our team find that balance between hierarchy and chaos, and that helped our group structure our creative energies in order to succeed.
So we weren't overstepping our bounds.
No way. A task like this with no specializations or expertise, honestly, anyone could have done it, but you guys were randomly chosen, so we put our trust in you. And I think what this showed us is that anyone on our team is really capable of leading, and we just need to make sure that the roles and processes are very clear, and that we need to make sure that the whole team is fully in support of that manager.
Yeah. I think we have to learn how not to tiptoe around each other and really take into account each of our individual characteristics in order to use the group structure and really succeed.
Yeah, maybe that's something we amend in our team foundations, to really say that there should be someone who keeps the train on the rails, whether that's defined by either our existing skill set or out of our development goals. So what do you guys think? Okay, great. Okay, so great discussion, guys. Now we can move on to our weekly meeting, which I'm in charge of leading. So let's start with Jeremy, who can take us through our 3 takeaways from this week.
Yeah, so I think what we found out this week is that we really need formal leadership roles, we need a mechanism for disagreement, and we need standardized processes to guide our work.
Yeah, really glad you mentioned processes. I was thinking about this all week as we went through the activities, and I think one great way of looking at it is through the group structure matrix. Earlier in the week, our activities tended to be in the sectors of the egalitarian model. And as we progressed up to tanagrams, we really hit maximum efficiency when we found that right hierarchy.
Yeah, look, we started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yay, go here!
So actually, guys, I just want to play devil's advocate for a second. I don't think this is the kind of model where you always want to be moving towards the top. I think the idea is, depending on the type of task, you kind of want to pick the hierarchical structure that makes the most sense. And I think that's one of the things we didn't do well in the beginning, but that we're getting a lot better at.
I think that's a really good point. Let's just get a quick feedback on that. Okay, great. So from there, we'll move on to our 2 priorities for improvement.
I think we can build the hierarchy model within our social contract, so we can adapt the hierarchy depending on the task. So that's one of the suggestions. I think we can.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think building on Felipe's point and what Vici kind of just showcased for us, we need to also build some structure that assigns a devil's advocate or someone to kind of check us on the level of disagreement and where we're at.
Sounds great. And we'll know that we're successful in making these changes when we've not only codified them into our social norms, but we're actually living them in the way that we're doing our work.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's just get a quick check-in as well on our 2 points of improvement. Great, so we all agree. I think we're really in a good place to start the year off on the right foot, and we're going to crush the year. I'll just send out a meeting appointment in December to discuss where we are at this point.
Great, now let's get started on the middle project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how does this thing work?
Last name ever, first name greatest. First name greatest. last name ever.